Hi, welcome back to another video at Create Your Difference. So in the last video, we talked about the importance of setting your intentions and deciding what you want in order to achieve the success that you want in your life. And today we're going to talk about the next underlying essential mindset, which is believing that you can do it. So for over 20 years now, it's 2022, I've had the family that I wanted from the age of 15 forward. And I fully intend to continue on for at least another 50 years. But having this family was an intention I set that took me 20 years to start achieving and another 20 years to actually achieve. So for 40 years, I pursued this goal. It's not something that happens overnight, but the only reason I was able to do that was not only because I decided it's what I wanted, but it's because I believed I could do it. I believed I could have it because I saw other people had it. Other people around me had the family that I believed I wanted. And so I decided in myself that if they could do it, that I could do it. So if I could do it, I could do it, right? I had to just pursue it. And so I hope I've started in the last couple of videos helping you to start thinking about what you want to achieve and on getting yourself on your way to your journey to having what you want. Because it is time for you to start creating your difference. And so we're going to talk about now believing that you can achieve the thing you've decided that you want. So when we start our lives, we many times hear things from other people that become very ingrained in how we think about ourselves. It becomes very ingrained in our perception of the world. And many times we don't achieve something or pursue something or do something because deep down we really don't believe that we can. We see or hear about someone else doing something, or we see an activity or an accomplishment, and our first thought is, I can't do that, or I could never do that. This belief comes from two places. It comes from what we've heard other people tell us that we've started to believe and the things that we've told ourselves. And the truth is, we do believe the things that the people closest to us are telling us over and over throughout our lives. This starts in our childhood with our parents, with our caregivers, with other adults around us, continues through our life with our teachers, eventually our employers, with our friends, with our frenemies, with our actual enemies. The things that people repeatedly say to us that we buy into and then start to tell ourselves becomes what we start to define ourselves by, and then becomes how we perceive life and the world around us and the possibilities for our lives. So things we often hear will frequently sound like this. You can't do that, or you can't be that. You'll never accomplish anything. You'll never become that. You could never do that. You always are this negative way. You are some negative description. The things we hear from others become the things that we then start to tell ourselves. So we believe that what they're telling us and what we're telling ourselves is the truth. But in reality, it's not. It's just the things we've come to believe. And if we can change our beliefs, we can actually change what it is we do with our lives. So think about the things that you haven't accomplished in life, things you tried to do and weren't successful at and then gave up. Was it because in the back of your mind you heard little voices that said things like, I'm so dumb, I'm such a loser, I'll never accomplish anything, I always mess things up, of course I didn't get this right, of course I failed, of course it didn't work out. All of those things are the voices that others have said to us, are the voices inside our own head that is frequently our own voice telling us these things over and over. It's very hard to stand against. And that belief becomes so ingrained that we eventually can't even conceive that it's not true. But the reality is, it actually isn't true. All of those things that we've been told are just opinions. And opinions are not the same things as facts. And even facts can be changed over time based on new discoveries. And so one of the new discoveries you're about to make is you can change what you believe about yourself. You're not a loser. You can be a winner. You are not a failure. You can be a successful person. You are not a worthless person. You have value. You can change those beliefs, and those beliefs will then eventually change how you interact with the world and can change the facts that the life that you have is such a thing. So here's a simple activity to help you begin to counteract these statements. Take a pen and paper and write down the first 10 things you can remember being told as you grew up from those around you and eventually started telling yourselves, especially when things didn't go the way you planned or something you attempted didn't work out the way you had hoped. What were the things that you heard? What did people say to you? Did people laugh at you? Did they tell you, of course you couldn't do it? What made you think you would be able to do that? Whatever negatives you heard, regardless of the source, whether it's your parents or teachers or friends or neighborhood adults, whoever it was, whatever they said to you that was a negative statement as you were growing up, write those down, the first 10 things that come to your mind. And after you write them down, then I want you to go back and I want you to write the opposite of those statements. The positive version are now the affirmations you're going to begin to tell yourself every day when you wake up and before you go to sleep. Remember, what you are doing is undoing all of the negative things that you've been told or heard throughout your life. And the undoing will take time. Consider how old you are right now. So how long have you been hearing those negatives? Undoing that is not going to happen overnight. It does take time. It does take consistent practice. It does take active choice to believe the positive rather than the negative. But over time, you can undo the negative and you can begin to change your beliefs about what you can do and achieve and about who you are as a person. But remember, reinforcing the positive to yourself happens every time you hear the negative. So going forward, whenever someone says something negative to you, immediately in your mind, restate the opposing, opposite, positive statement so that you can start to reverse not only the negative things that have accumulated over the years by your positive daily affirmations morning and night, but also on an ongoing basis over time, day to day, undoing any negatives that are continuing to come to you from whatever source. So immediately, things like, you're such a loser is going to become, I'm not a loser. I'm a winner. I know I'm a winner. You'll never amount to anything becomes, I accomplish whatever I set my mind to. Whenever you hear someone say, you'll never accomplish anything, or you can't accomplish that, in your mind you say, I can accomplish anything. I will accomplish whatever it is. Whenever someone says something like, you always mess things up, replace that with, I try repeatedly until I'm successful. That's the option that you want to choose. Not, I always mess things up, so I'm going to give up and quit. But I try repeatedly until I am successful. When you repeatedly say that to yourself, guess what you'll keep doing? You'll keep trying until you're successful, because that's how success comes. Success doesn't come because you tried it once and then quit. It comes because you tried it again and again until you got it. And that's who you want to be. So your worthless becomes, I'm valuable and bring value to all that I do. If you want to go into marketing, I can't sell anything becomes, I connect people with the products and services they desire. Or I can't talk to people, I'm an introvert, becomes, I am genuinely interested in others and what they have to say. You can change your mindsets by reminding yourself of what it is that you want to be and who you are becoming. Now, to some of you, it's going to sound silly. It's going to sound hard. It's going to sound irrational and illogical. And to some, it might even sound like magical thinking. But I want you to remember the story I told you in the previous video about my family and the family that I now have. Believe me, it's the story that drives me now to embrace these mindsets. Why? Because I actually have already done them even without realizing it. As I moved through my life and set my mind on certain things I wanted to achieve, I embraced the rest of these mindsets just naturally because I wanted that thing so much. It took a while for me to get the exposure to the people who have delineated and defined these mindsets and put it out there as an organized body of content and knowledge to know. But now that I've gotten to that space, I'm like, people really need to understand this. And that's part of why I started this little YouTube channel, is because I want to share those things with other people to help them not take 40 years to achieve the thing that they want. I'm glad I have the family I have, and the journey was definitely worth it. But I don't think everybody needs to spend 40 years trying to achieve the family they want. I think you can have yours a lot faster. So I want you to know that even though I am now consciously embracing these mindsets. I'm not yet where I want to be. And in later videos, I'll talk a little bit more about the things I'm still currently trying to achieve as I move forward in my journey of helping my own mindsets to be more of what it is I want them to be as I move forward as well. So I hope that all of these videos are going to help you be better connected to who you are as a person and to the things you want to achieve, and that as you practice telling yourself the positive versions of the things you've been told over your entire life, that you're not worthy, you're not worthwhile, that you can't achieve anything, that you tell yourself, I am worthy, I am worthwhile, I can achieve these things, I am doing it, right? Stated in the active present tense. I am doing this, I am these things, I am valuable, I am able, I am competent, right? I am successful. When you start doing that, it's going to make your life become the life that you want it to be. So for now, I hope this video resonates with you a little bit. I know it's a little bit shorter than the previous video, and that's okay, because most importantly now is that you write down your list, right? Write down your 10 affirmations of positive things that you want to say to yourself. And if it turns out, that some of those statements that you're rewriting are actually very similar to each other and can be one statement, so you end up with maybe 5. That's okay too, because what matters is that you're telling yourself the good things. So I hope you like this video. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. I hope that if you're thinking about going into an online business or marketing career, that you will click the link in the description below to connect with me so we can talk about what that might look like for you. I'm definitely interested in your comments, so please give me some of those below as well. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Let's move on to creating your difference.